Good evening, everyone. This is the final panel of this first Bengaluru Retail Summit that RAI has organized today. I can see a few people out here, and there are many outside as well. So it's time that people will, start pouring in again. But something which is very exciting from a brand perspective. Today on this stage that we have got some exciting brands who are doing some exciting work as well. The topic that we are going to discuss about is redefining retail, technology, trends and transformation in the Indian marketplace. The format is, I would request my panelists to introduce themselves in one line, and then we would like to, have a question and answer session with each one of them. We take it from there. So I would start with Vinay, and if you can introduce yourself, the brand, and in one line or so, if you can give the introduction about the brand, that would be ideal for everybody to know what the brand is into. It's just a one or two liners, that's it, and then we get into the details of it. Over to you. Thank you.
Hello all. My name is Vinay Kothari. I'm the founder of Go Desi. We do Desi Indian treats. Our mission is to make Desi popular.
Hi everyone, this is Chinu Kala. I'm a founder of Ruban's Accessories. Apologies for my voice, I am a little under weather today. Well, my journey started as a retailer. So I started with a 6x6 store, and today run one of the biggest jewelry brand in this country with more than 3 million customers. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Anish, Basu. I'm the founder of this snack brand called TagZ. We are a new age snack brand looking to offer consumers extremely affordable, extremely tasty, and yet better for you snacking experiences. We have a presence across more than 25,000 retail stores. More importantly, we are extremely and truly humbled by the consumer love that we've received from more than 25 million consumers across the country already.
Hello everyone, good evening. This is Vidhi from Samosa Singh. So as the name says, we actually sell samosas and Indian street foods. We started mainly as a B2B player. Currently have a good mix of both B2B as well as direct to consumer in a retail format. Currently operating 60 plus stores across 8 cities and now venturing overseas with our exports as well. So good to be here and connect with you all.
Hi, hi, I'm Rohit, Rohit Khaitan from Genesis. Genesis is a leading retail tech solution company. We provide ERP, point of sale, e-commerce, OMS, WMS, and various other tech products, all integrated into a single suite for offline and online retail both. And we are working with some of the leading retail names across the country. Thank you.
So let me start with Chinu first. Chinu, yours is Ruban's Accessories, and you have got around 3 million customers already. The way we are going to have this session is we are going to discuss with the brand for a few minutes rather than passing on the same question to all of you all, so that we can have some better insights into the brand and how the founders have brought it at this level. The first question is, how did you manage to reach 3 million consumers? And Chinu's brand is a online first brand. It's a D2C brand. So, right, and how old is this brand, Chinu?
About 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years, and 3 million customers is awesome, and that to a D2C brand. How did you make this happen, Chinu? In this one question, we would like to know more insights about all your strategies.
Great. So, as I said, when we had started, we were an offline brand. We used to have a kiosk of a 6x6 square feet. And I used to stand there personally to understand what consumer needs. What are they really asking for, right? That learning is what helped us. Listening to your customer, I'm sure all of you would have heard it 100 times, But trust me, that is the only fact. You have to listen to your customer because वो पैसे दे रहे हैं, right? उनको पता है. They know what they want. And that is how they pay. So we understood what they need, what they want. We understood different price points. We also understood that if someone is at a 1,000 rupee cap or someone is at a 500 rupee cap, what is that 500 wala customer looking for and what is a 1,000 wala customer looking for? And they both have very different demands. So we worked a lot into it. I think because I have a lot of retailers here, something that I would like to add, because a lot of retailers reach out to me asking that, because I've been a retailer, like how do I go from an offline to an online brand, right? Here, I think, so let's start it this way. When you have to start a new store, offline store, you first get a manager, you get a place, you get a supervisor, you get everything. But the moment someone tells you, let's go online, the answer I hear is, कैसे होगा? Photo कौन खींचेगा? Right? And trust me, something for which you will go and look for a location, you will pay a deposit, you will do all of that, versus something that you can literally start from a garage. Pick up a garage, get a photographer, do exactly what you do in your store. So what do you do in your store? You put the best products at a display? Do that. Your manager tells the customer, this fabric is beautiful, this work is nice. Exactly, basically you're highlighting the product. Just highlight that in the content. Exactly what you're doing offline is what you have to do for online. And that journey, if you're able to do it, it's beautiful. Because customers, even if they are coming to your store, they still want to see you online. Because they want to browse. You know, they just want to spend time browsing and then still sometimes buy from there or come to your store. So I think that's something that I always tell retailers that, you know, if you can simply replicate, जो भी आपका manager बोल रहा है ना, उस सारे को key points में if we write, and if we do some amazing pictures, I think any brand can really go online.
Thanks, Chinu. So, okay, we'll move to now Nidhi. Nidhi, samosa is something that everybody in this room definitely loves, even if they hate the after effects of it, but the love for the taste always remains, right? The first question which I want to ask you is, what made you enter into business of samosa? Huh? But you are a data scientist, right?
We are a scientist, not data,
Okay.
the real medicine-making scientist.
Okay, medicine-making scientist. From there, in your Nidhi's world, you became a halwai, right? So, from a scientist, आप हलवाई बन गए, ठीक है? लेकिन ये transformation कैसे हुआ? Because we are talking about transformation. For the first transformation is at the product level and at your vision level that you transform yourself. So, just tell us about that, and then we come to the ops part of it, Nidhi.
Sure. See, actually, this idea, honestly, is not mine. It's my husband Shikhar's idea. So Shikhar and I have known each other for almost 20 years. We met in the first college together. So while we were studying biotech, while we were studying science, I was very much into this. And he was always keen to start something of his own, and especially in food. And samosa was one product which I think is innate to everybody. We all relate to it. There's no fancy things associated with it. And it's a product which needs no introduction. Everybody knows it. So while I started working in a US-based healthcare company, and he went in for higher studies, it's a very funny story. He actually got himself into the Institute of Life Sciences, where pan-world actually only 8 students get selected. And he was one of them at even getting the stipend. And he used to get stipend at State Bank of India. One day he goes in the State Bank of India, standing in the line, and automatically that line halts, and the entire line shifts outside SBI, where there's a small samosa vendor selling samosas during the lunchtime. And he was in Hyderabad. And he tells me, samosa even sells in Hyderabad. I said, samosa is everywhere, but we assume that it's more of a north-centric product.
Yeah.
And that's when he tells me, I get an idea. I said, what is it? And I really thought that he would tell me something related to science, food, something more beautiful that I could use to convince my criminal lawyer dad, okay, for this marriage. And he comes and tells me, wherever there is going to be State Bank of India, I'm going to open a samosa shop next to it. I know the customers are definitely going to come. State Bank of India represents the Indians. It actually represents the consumers like us, and we are the people who eat samosas. So I have traction built already, and that's what I'm going to do. I really didn't, my reaction, don't ask, obviously, it was not a very good reaction, and I just shoved that idea. Basically, nothing happened. And I told him, pehle convince karne ke liye papa ko to scientist ban jao yaar, baad mein dekhenge. So then, yes, everything happened, we got married, but this idea of samosa never left us. Or it never left him. He was doing great in his job, but he always had that idea, samosa. And a lot of times I told him, pick a fancy product, something nice that we could do. But fancy, see, every product has its own charm. But samosa was something which was, after that, it was like samosa everywhere, everywhere. With our first salary, we went on to watch a movie in PVR Gold class. And even in Gold class, samosa was in the menu. Airports you go, even in the airline, samosa is sold. In big cafes, Cafe Coffee Day at that point in time, one of the most loved brands of Bangalore, samosa was part of their menu. And it was like samosa is everywhere, everywhere. Yet it's something which is actually taken up by the vendors in the morning, microwaved, heated, and given it back to you. Why can't we create a brand that actually makes the samosas right in front of the customers and do it? So this idea was more like, eventually it was just an idea, and then samosa calling everywhere. And then one fine day, I told him, okay, let's do it. And even I was convinced by then that it's a great idea, we should do it. And then, as much as I know him, with just the idea, no brand name, nothing, he quit the job. And then just opposite to Biocon, there was a company, CA company. We went there, we got the company name incorporated, just a general thing. And that's how Samosa Singh was born in 2016, though we started operations 2 years later because it took us some time to get hold of things by then.
This is the corporatization of samosa. Okay, so I want to ask this next question. Today you are at 60 stores in 8 cities. You mentioned, so 8 cities, south may be here, right?
We currently, it's South and West India.
West
Yes,
India. And
right.
samosa where north and east also people love, you still are not there, and there's the whole opportunity there. So how did you reach from 1 to 60 stores? And that's something where, the transformation has happened.
See, honestly, our story has not been story of great success or everything. We have seen huge ups and downs. So we were doing really well. We started with 1 store, and we started at all the places where I saw the samosas, initially. Like I started with multiplexes. PVR was the first big client. Then Infosys, then Bosch, HCL, HP, all these companies. Then Jet Airways, Air Asia, Air India. All these big companies we picked up. And the business actually kind of took there in almost 2 years when we started working with all the multiplexes, entertainment industry, corporates, and all the aviation industry, everything. When things were really right, and that's when we invested very heavily at one of the Bangalore International Airports in January 2020. We opened up our flagship store there. And that's when we decided now is the time to actually have more brand play. Get into direct to consumer, because till now it was all B2B through the multiplexes like Jet Airways, Air India, Cafe Coffee Day, Pan Karnataka used to sell our samosas. So everywhere, but it was not as a direct, as a brand. It was more like a B2B thing. So we were doing well, and we decided to now pivot into B2C, and that's when COVID happened. So when COVID happened, 100% of my business, not even 1%, 100% of my business was actually shut overnight, because the airports were asked to be called off, the airlines were shut, multiplexes were the first ones to shut. All these cafes like Big Basket, Cafe Coffee Day, again were not operating. So literally overnight our business was zero. And that's when it was a very different thing, because zero for 1 day, but zero, like you don't even know how does it come back again. It was a very different thing. But the biggest strength at that point in time was our production unit, our facility. Because from day one, we actually had our own manufacturing. So today till pre-COVID, we were only making samosas in that factory. Then during COVID, we decided if we have to now be available online, we really need to get that supply chain and start making everything in-house. So we used to sell samosa pav, the pav buns. So even the pav buns started then making in our own factory using my home ovens. Then we sell samosa chole chaat, so chole, chutney, the save that goes on top of samosa. So everything we started making in-house. And that actually was a game changer because it made us self-sufficient. So today we have 2 big factories, and we actually have one of the largest semi-automated capability to roll out lakhs of units of samosas, and not just samosa, everything that actually goes into this, which supported us during COVID to manage our own cloud kitchens, which we could open, do some partnerships with brands like, all these brands like maybe multiplexes and everyone, and scale it up from there. So it has not been a easy journey. It has been all lots and lots of learnings and mistakes. But yes, so that's how we pivoted, but continue to scale.
I have more questions. I will come to you, Nidhi, very soon. Vinay, go Desi. Why go Desi? Again, succinctly, if you can share the whole concept of why go Desi, and today, so what were the real ethos of go Desi which you started with? We would like to hear that, because what Chinu said and what Nidhi said, the transformation has happened at 2-3 levels. But the first place that happens is as the vision level, and then the product level. And then we talk about the other areas of business. So yeah, Vinay, over to you.
So I think there is a very intellectual answer about why go Desi, and then maybe I'll get into the more emotional piece part of it. But if you see brands in consumer packaged food that have been created in India, they were primarily created by these large MNCs which came to India, and then they had to change Indian behavior to have products which we were not used to have, like breads, biscuits, chocolates, chewing gum, energy bars, etc. Right? So now, when they were supposed to create this habit change, they had to create a reason for us to change that, and that's where the brand came into picture, and that's where the usage and brands were created in this. However, we were always, as a country, always like crazy about food, and we were always having multiple products which were desi in nature, but they were primarily created by these regional players, or these players would change every 20-30 kilometers, but they would be put, like for example in South India you would have a chikki player, a murakku player, or a nippat player after every 30 kilometers. Right? But because it was already available, there was no brand experience that was created there. Now, as our disposable incomes are increasing, we are we're looking at having the same, our aspirations have changed, and therefore we want the same kind of experience that, say, a chocolate is packaged in. So why do I have to eat a nippat which is packaged in an oily packet, or maybe a banana chips which is again packaged not well, where I don't know who has made it and how is it come, and is it FSSI approved, etc., and the hygiene is there. So our needs as a consumer has evolved, and therefore there is this huge opportunity where there is a large unorganized sector which is essentially dominated by local players and regional players, and as consumer disposable income increases, people are going to demand the same brand experience that a Western brand is able to give, whether it is in form of packaging, whether it is the branding, whether it is more beyond the product appeal, right? I mean, you have to go, so you don't eat a dairy milk just because it's a chocolate, but you eat it because there's an emotion involved, there's a celebration involved, and that's what they would like to do it for Indian products as well. And that's why this entire opportunity of Go Desi, and that's how on basis of what we've started creating Go Desi.
How old is this brand?
Go Desi is now 5 years old. We started in 2018, so yeah, almost touching 6 years.
So what was the transformative moment in the Go Desi's journey?
So I think for us it has been so we never started with a business plan ki, this is the huge industry size, and all of that, all of the gyan that I just gave 2 minutes back is all retrofitting. Okay, that's why we've become successful, or we've become wherever we have reached, is because of hypothesizing and putting all that 5 years journey into, say, maybe a two paragraph strategy note. But our journey has been very iterative. So we started, I started Go Desi in 2018 when I saw these Desi Pops, and we are popular for our product called Desi Pops, which is basically nothing but a lollipop, Indian lollipop on a stick. So it's fruit pulp and jaggery and Indian spices on a stick. And I found this in a small chai tapri shop, and I thought that, okay, why is this product not available in urban markets? And we branded it and sold it in Bengaluru Retail stores. And since then, that journey. So for us, I don't see any kind of a large transformation moment. But what has been, it has been a very iterative step by step journey, and that has led to what we are today.
So where can I find Desi? Where all can I find it?
So today, Desi Pops is available in 45,000 stores across the country. We bill almost 25,000 stores a month. We have 18 standalone stores in Bangalore, so you would find us in metro stations. You will be able to find us in highway stores, highway place, and we're also the largest candy brand on Amazon, bigger than MNCs in terms of, so if you look at the top 10 brands on Amazon, we would be on number 1, 2 and 3, on same thing on quick commerce brands. So you should be, I mean, that's the hope, that you should be able to find us wherever you go for your candies.
So my next question after the round gets over is, how did you get this number 1 position on Amazon? You know, and if you can share those secrets with our audience here. Over to Anish. You said TagZ food is available in 25,000 retail outlets. First of all, again, succinctly, if you can tell us about the TagZ food, you did mention about it, but the way Nidhi and Chinu and even Vinay mentioned, just give 2-3 lines about the product category, about TagZ food, and your presence in 25,000 retail outlets is humongous. So we want to know how that has happened. But before that, the introduction part.
So Hitesh ji, what I'll do is I'll possibly share some observations. हलवाई की दुकान में हमेशा भीड़ होती है, and we all know how much money the हलवाई is. You come down south, it is typically the Udupi restaurant, right, which is the most popular snacking format in the F&B space. India happens to be the only country where the F&B space is dominated by multi-cuisine restaurants. Outside of India or South Asia, multi-cuisine restaurants per se don't exist as much. And my belief is that it is because of some very simple reasons. Being a value-conscious country, what we are looking for while we are looking for snacking experiences. Number 1, we are looking for something affordable, जो हलवाई की दुकान पे और उडुपी की दुकान पे दोनों जगह मिलता है. The other thing that we are looking for is taste. Taste trumps everything, right? Number 3, what we are looking for is incredible amount of variety. We hate repeating the same snack maybe twice or thrice in a month. In fact, if you go back and reflect about it, the most successful and the largest snack brand today in the country, Haldiram, deep respect for that brand, I think that's precisely what they did. उन्होंने हलवाई की दुकान और उडुपी रेस्टोरेंट की दुकान को पूरा उठा करके पैकेज फॉर्मेट में डाल दिया, right? And extremely affordable, tasty, and variety-led offerings. However, what I could also see very clearly is that increasingly across pop strata, while we enjoy our trip to the halwai ki dukan, we all come back with our stomachs full, but our hearts also somewhere full of guilt. So is there some way that we can look at offering the consumer something which is better, right? मैं healthy वगैरह की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे, right? Is there some way of offering the consumer something that is better for them, right? I'm a second-time entrepreneur. When I was looking at starting this venture, I was very clear that I wanted to get back into the consumer brand space. I researched multiple categories. Amongst all the categories, I felt that food is very clearly one category where over the next 5 to 10 years, I feel that the need for better food is going to become more and more of a sharply felt consumer need, right? And we wanted to cater to something that is an existing consumer need rather than trying to sell them something which is a consumer want by spending a lot of money on marketing. So TagZ extremely tasty, can we offer them a lot of relevant variety, and can at all points in time, the products that we do, can they be better for you? Hence, then we launched potato chips. We were the first brand in the country to develop a product called popped potato chips. It's a new technology altogether in India. Our chips typically have 50% less fat. When we did bhujia, right, we basically became the first brand to launch something called as corn bhujia, which is a significantly healthier grade as compared to, let's say, aloo or besan that is used for aloo bhujia. When we decided to launch cookies, we became the first brand to launch something called as hemp cookies and date melts, right? We basically used hemp as a superfood, blended that with dark chocolates and different cookies. When we did date melts, we used the goodness of khajur into very freshly oven-baked cookies. When we did our hash puffs, right, these are basically roasted corn puffs again, but then we said, can't we make it a little bit more interesting for the consumer? We launched them in the shape of a hashtag, right? So that's what we are up to, that's what we're doing. 25,000 stores, in my view, is testimony to the hard work of the team, more importantly. And I think it is testimony to the kind of consumer love that thankfully we have received to the brand and to the products. But I feel there's a long way to go.
So, TagZ food, what I can see is affordability, taste and variety, and obviously availability. So, these are 3-4 odd mantras which comes immediately after hearing, what Anish Basu said. We'll come to how you achieved this, because I want to ask Chinu also the success, and even Vinay, because one thing from a transformation or the trend part is they have known, or they could see, sense and realize the pulse of the consumer. So that was there, and they could find the trends. Basis on those trends, they came up with these products. So if you look at the samosa that Nidhi has, Chinu, when she created the online space for her product, or Go Desi, or what just now Anish spoke about the TagZ food part. All of them have product at the core and well researched. So something that obviously comes out is a well researched product. However, they may, they are not denying it, but they have worked extremely hard to ensure that if it is a samosa also, that samosa has been researched, and that potato chips, which has been in time immemorial with us, but we have researched that potato chips and come up with something uniqueness, something transformative and something innovative. So that's the first part of it. Now let me ask Chinu. Chinu, you reached this scale again. What kind of marketing, you had to do? You were a bootstrapped brand, and like any other startup, you also had, your ups and downs. But to reach to again 3 million customers, what was your marketing strategy, which helped you to gain traction in the Indian marketplace? Because predominantly you are a D2C brand.
Yes, so for us, as we were bootstrapped, we never had money to, spend on marketing. So no hoardings. Even, the tags on Facebook, Instagram, it's crazy. If you get into that race, it's a very, very difficult task. So we, from day one, started concentrating on our repeat rate. So we were like, एक बार अगर customer ने ले लिया है, the experience should be so good that that customer has to come back, right? And also what we started doing is we started giving a lot more information about our product, because what was happening in our industry, fashion jewelry was always looked down upon. In fact, I'd like to share a small incident here. When I started, my sister, I told her I want to start a fashion jewelry brand. My sister is like, fashion jewelry तो सड़क पे बिकती है. इसका कहाँ से brand होता है? I'm like, yeah, but we can make a brand. And I could not convince her, by the way. First year of my brand, and I get invited to a party, and this friend of mine, she introduces me to a whole group, and she says, hey, she's into jewelry, and obviously women, so we love jewelry. like artificial, real. Women, we love jewelry. So all the women got very excited about meeting me. They're like, oh wow, what kind of jewelry and all that. And this woman, she straight away says, oh no, she's just into fashion jewelry. Right? So it was always looked down upon. And here I was one person who said, I'm going to change it. I'm not going to sell a massy roadside product. I'm going to sell high quality, something that can be compared look-wise, not price-wise, to a real jewelry. And today we are in an era where the fashion jewelry is not worn by people because they can't afford real jewelry. It's worn because they love it. It's worn because it's more fashionable. The designs that we can offer, real jewelry cannot even offer those kind of designs. So we started, giving more information about it. We started sharing with our customer what kind of technology do we use. Why is it that our color will not tarnish, which was unheard of. So that's what worked for us as marketing. And also, because I never had money to, especially when I started, I didn't have money to have a brand ambassador. So I decided to be my own brand ambassador. I'm like, okay, wherever I go, wherever I'm seen, I should be wearing my product, right? And I would gift all my friends, my family, friends, everyone. I would have given at least 1,000 gifts, just requesting people, yaar, party mein ja rahi na, pen lena. Just wear it for me. That's all what I did. And because the product had that power, people loved the product so much that every time a woman wore my jewelry and went to a party, at least 10 women will ask her that, hey, ye kahan se liya? And that word of mouth really, really worked for us.
Word of mouth. But word of mouth came because the product was extremely, customized.
Extremely solid.
Yes,
Yeah. We worked a lot on the product.
So what kind of customer feedback you have got, in terms of how often you change your trends? Because this is something which you have to change almost every day. If you look at it from my perspective or my friend's perspective, they will say, okay, this has to change every day. I want a new item every day, but it's seldom that happens.
We live in an Instagram era. We want to look good every day, right? I'm sure every one of you will agree with me. Like today's women, or even men for that matter, right? Especially women, though, we want to look, every day we want to look at our best, right? It's no more ke hum ek din tayar ho rahe hain. So we live in that era. So now there is no more, so we have new drops every 2 weeks. That's the level of trend that we follow. Anything that comes new, anything that we see trending. Like, I'll just give you an example. If you just look around, I don't know how many of you really scroll on social media, but 3 weeks ago, there was a lot of conversation on gold, right? Times of India did like a huge article, gold is trending, everyone is wearing gold. 3 weeks later, today cherry red is trending. Yeah. It's only in 3 weeks. So that's how trends change. And we are so proud that we are able to bring in a new drop every 2 weeks.
So that's what the trend part of this panel discussion is all about. What trends, Nidhi, this question is to you. Apart from samosas, you also sell the other charts, right? What is the trend that you see? Because if you ask me, I will not go to your store to eat a samosa, even if you give me free, or even if you give me 10 rupees more. Okay, yeah, Hitesh, samosa and 10 rupees. I'll go to the Gupta ji, because I love that taste and I'm used to it. Having said that, why should I come to your store and you have got how many customers? How many samosas you sell?
We sell 30,000 to 50,000 samosas a day.
30,000 to 50,000 samosas a day. This is a corporatization of samosa जो मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ, वो अभी शुरुआत है. So Nidhi, what are the trends that you are looking at in this? What's the adaptability, of samosa?
See, it's a pure indulgent food. It's an indulgent brand. I completely resonate with what Anish also said in this thing, that people want to eat and indulge into street foods, yet they want a little, again, not using the word healthier, but a better alternate or a better option. So what we try to do, we obviously don't sell baked samosas, or we don't claim our samosas to be healthier. I tried it once, it was with Amazon pre-COVID, where all these big companies, right, when you work with them, they have certain norms, they keep testing your products, they keep getting it tested through accredited labs, etc. So our product was found to have 53% less fat. And it's not because of the way, not special way we made for them, it's just because of a lot of research that has gone into the product to make sure that even if it's fried, it doesn't get that greasiness and that oily feeling, or post, having the product, you should not feel too much guilty about it. So they asked me to actually put it right on top of the pack, saying 53% less fat. I was very much against it. They said, no, get a new box design. Thankfully, I didn't get the new box design. I just got a new sticker design, which said 53% less fat. Again, I'm not exaggerating. Now, it was ironically, my sale dropped to 53%. Because the minute people see 53% less fat, it gets registered as 53% less tasty. When it's about samosas, gulab jamun, jalebi, rabdi, chaat, it's meant to be indulgent. But yes, indulgence doesn't mean that tel aise drip ho raha hai, tapak raha hai. So you really need to understand the consumer and do it. So my trends, that what I see is that we are now there are certain things that work well. For us, rather than opening in a high street samosa sing outlet, what works is opening in corporates, opening in malls. Because that's where our consumers all come. And for product like samosa, for product like chips, people don't have to pre-plan and think. It's an impulsive purchase. Aap shopping kar rahe hain, you are working, you feel hungry, shaam ko chai ke saath you want that samosas. So it's more of that impulse buy. So that is why in our corporates, in fact, ironically, I recently got a contract from Narayana Health City. And that's one of the biggest health city. And they asked me to open a counter in the cardiac division. And there's a chai point, and they said next to chai point, and Dr. Devi Shetty himself sits here. And I was like, cardiac division with samosa sing? And he said, nahi, you have to do this, you have to do this. And finally, we kept contemplating. They said, don't pay rent. You just come. Pure revenue share. You just try it once, it will work. It's not even 2 months. And I'm actually doing 300 bill cuts every single day. It's a product which is, again, it's not for cardiac patients, but it's people who are waiting there for their appointments. Fresh aroma, yaar, ek samosa, chalo thoda dahi dal kar de do, chole dal kar de do, that customization, and it works well for us. So the trends is that this is a product that sells everywhere, be it on a mall, in a corporate tech park, in cardiac division of a hospital. So
this is fantastically ridiculous, not that way, but this is an awesome thing. Why? Because see, it can be an individual perception. People may like it, people may not like it. Okay, like the way she exclaimed, cardiac division. Okay, we may explain it or express it in words, and it's an individual perception. So I will not comment on that part. But the way I look at it is the exclamation mark that Nidhi had on her face and the smile that you guys had on your face said everything. It also talks that if there is a possibility of a samosa in a cardiac division, which we have proved, but it also talks about the trends that we are talking today. And this is how the transformation is happening.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So now, and this is again an opening thing. See, when I started in Narayana Health City as a brand, that's doing well for me. But apart from it, I get another B2B order from last 2 months. It's a recurring contract that we have signed, that every day, at night shift at 2 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning, there are doctors and there are budding doctors and some trainees and all who actually are on the service. They need some light snacks on the go, which may not always be samosa. It could be vada pav, it could be a different kind of a samosa, not aloo, maybe corn and a masala corn in it or something. So we even supply that. So the trend is simple, simple things and basic things don't go out of trend. People still love samosas. There are different versions of samosas that we offer, but aloo and the basic ones are always the top sellers. People love the concept, and to be honest, McDonald's have changed it, ki on the spot fry karke, do it, people love it. So that's the trend, and for me, the learnings is that the places where they're already captive audience, jaise malls ho gaya, tech parks, hospitals, And these things are doing phenomenally well for us.
So taking the product to the customer, and this is what exactly Samosa Singh is doing, and we have seen the success. I want to ask Rohit Khaitan about, before I come to the others, is about, Rohit, what are the trends that you are looking from a retailer's perspective, how technology or the trends are impacting their, productivity, effectiveness, and their customer service?
Thanks. I think trends की बात करें तो it's unlimited because everything is being driven by technology these days. Obviously, consumer comes first. Everything is driven by consumer demand, but ultimately to meet that demand in an efficient and in a productive way, you have to invest in technology and tools. Genesis, we are providing an integrated suite. So what we are seeing, चार trend की बात करूँगा. First, a lot of adoption of digital facets. People are adding more and more digital facets to their customer experience. So whether it be chatbot or whether it be endless aisle for browsing the products catalogs in the store, or whether it be QR codes for getting more information about products, or whether it be RFID and so on. So the digitization of the consumer experience is increasing day by day. And what that is leading to is a plethora of different products coming into the ecosystem of the retailer. It's not only a checkout counter and a backend system. There are umpteen number of tools that they are bringing into the fold, which is requiring the next trend, which is an integration of all these various tools to come up with something which they can analyze, control, and manage from the same place. The second big trend is obviously, since everything is moving towards omni, obviously the pace is mixed. I mean, some brands have rapidly adopted it, some brands are on the way there. But what is definitely clear is that if the consumer can get a single view of the inventory, and you as a brand can get a single view of the consumer, that's what will up your sales. So eventually that is a big thing, and so for that a combination of the ERP, POS, WMS and other solutions are coming together in an integrated way to provide that kind of experience to the consumer. And third thing is what you can say more of a convenience or a smarter checkout, which is something like a cloud POS or a web POS, which can give a very smart checkout experience to the consumer, even a self-checkout experience to the consumer. So these are the three key trends that I see. There are a few others, but I think these are the important trends.
Okay, thanks, Rohit. I just summarize what Rohit said. Digitization is happening. Integration of tools. Omni-channel is, we have been talking about it since noon. And single view, this is a fantastic thing for a retailer. Single view of inventory, single view of consumer. Inventory to sabke paas hai, but how many of you have a single view of a consumer? And that's something which we have to delve into. And obviously smart checkout and self-checkouts, etc. is what Rohit mentioned. That's the technology impact that's happening. Coming to TagZ again, and this time I want to ask Anish. Anish, what are the consumer trends that you are looking or you are seeing and experiencing with your brands? Anything substantial that you have seen and modified your product or modified your supply chain or modified your approach to the overall retailing?
So, Hitesh, I think, first of all, before I talk about what is changing, I think increasingly there is a realization that is dawning upon a lot of us that India is really coming into its own. I think we spent considerable time in the last possibly 1 or 2 decades where we have somewhere lived under the fallacy that whatever happened in China or whatever happened in the US is likely to get also forming a very, very unique business identity unto itself. With that broad construct, I feel we went through this entire way where we felt, okay, the future kind of now belongs to direct to consumer brands, for example, right? Not denying that because brands have their own, space under the sun. But India very clearly is a market where the consumer is buying across various kinds of platforms. And the most important trend to possibly latch on to, in my view, is how can brands, how can retailers increasingly focus on building offerings which are omnichannel. And more importantly, the realization has to dawn that the same offering cannot ride on multiple channels. I cannot sell the same chips, the same cookies at the same price point in a modern trade store and in a general trade kirana store. I need to have different offerings very clearly for e-commerce, quick commerce. I possibly need to have very different offerings for modern trade. I possibly need to have very, very different offerings for general trade, right? And that's a everyday learning exercise that we as a brand are undergoing. More importantly, sometimes as a brand which is growing, you realize you cannot possibly even solve for all different channels which kind of form the omni-channel suite. So you will have to choose your battles, is my number one take on this.
Can I ask a question here?
Please.
You said price points should be different or are different for different general trade and normal D2C, etc. Have you experienced this?
Absolutely.
And so what is your suggestion if this is a challenge for a retailer? What solution do you think should be there? Because same potato chips, 100 grams, or let's assume whatever it is, 10 rupees, 12 rupees, or 15 rupees in different channels is what you are trying to convey. Am I right?
Absolutely. Right? I think at the core of this entire problem statement that you've articulated, I think what we're talking about is that the reason to buy for the consumer is very, very different. When I order something on Instamart, very clearly I need it at home in the next 15 minutes and I don't have it. And I possibly need it because I have a party at home. I have guests that I'm expecting. Or I have a midnight craving, right? Hence, possibly what needs to be offered to the consumer very clearly is a party pack, right? Which I need immediately for guests that are coming home. And the party pack possibly cannot be just one flavor ka bada pack. It possibly needs to be a virtual combo, right? When I'm catering to the midnight snacker, I possibly need a very, very small bite-sized offering, right? Whereas in a general trade store, it's a pure impulse play purchase, right? Where I seem to be, I am hanging out at, let's say, a samosa sing store, right? And I had a samosa. I possibly just want another dessert with it. Can I possibly dip into a cookie jar, which is possibly just a $5 or a $10? It's a very impulse purchase, right? I think the reason to buy in every different format is very different. Modern trade very clearly is a case where the retailer and the consumer both are encouraging a planned purchase because the overall basket value is. So there, the same cookie which we sell at a 5 rupee kind of a price point in a single serve in a general trade store, in a modern trade store we will sell it at a 40 rupee price point because it's a planned purchase. Somebody's going to buy it and take it back. So at the end of it, the consumer is the same, but possibly the reason to buy varies. And that's something which is going to become, in my view, more and more granular. Everybody says India has so many brands, right? I feel there is still a dearth of brands in India, right? Today, if we walk into a modern trade store, not too far away, even if we go to Southeast Asia, right? The per square foot brand density, right? In an organized retail store is possibly far higher than what it is in India, right? What obviously happens is that the same number of brands will possibly end up getting far lesser facings in a store in Southeast Asia versus here. I feel there's an opportunity, and this is possibly the best time to be building consumer brands, but it is extremely important to understand that we are moving away from the stage where one size will fit all. We need to identify what is our core target consumer, what are the consumption occasions that they are looking for, and we need to offer relevant offerings for them.
Brand Anish?
Very interestingly, March 2020.
2020 in COVID. And this is the insight in 2020, in 2 years or 2.5 years, even if I remove 2020, he's at 25,000 retail outlets. Because he has exactly known the reason to buy of the consumer, and that's why he is available in all these outlets across the country. Awesome, you summed it very well. You know, the planned purchase story, the reason to buy story, the brand density story per square feet, sorry, and the need want thing that you articulated in overall justification that you said.
If I might just add to that.
Please, please.
I think somewhere, and I don't know how true this is for all other brands, but I think as early stage brands, sometimes we end up obsessing overly with the consumer at the cost of ignoring our customer. I think
Okay,
in the omni-channel playbook, right, very clearly you need to understand that what are the priorities of your customer, and in our case, very clearly the customer is the distributor and the retailer. And even in a scenario like this, we need to understand that possibly a modern trade retailer, you know, their priorities when it comes to possibly margins is far more important, right? In case of a small kirana store, possibly the rotation of the inventory is far more important, right? In case of an e-commerce or a quick commerce player, the average order value matters a lot, right? So I think it is extremely important for brands to understand that you need to be able to create a beautiful marriage between what the consumer wants and what the retailer and the channel wants as well. Only when both these two things come together, you know, the kind of growth that we are anticipating can happen.
excellent. This was a classic, retail strategy or practical insights that Anish mentioned about. Vinay, you are also available, and I had asked you the question. You know how you have achieved this number of 45,000 stores, 8 standalone stores, and available largest. How did you achieve the status of largest candy brand on Amazon? Okay, so please share your secret sauce.
I think for Amazon specifically or marketplaces, it is extremely important to understand which category sizes are currently small but at growing at a very fast rate. And at that point, and if they are currently small and then there is very less branded competition in that category, and if you are able to solve a pain point in that category at an initial stage, just being available in that category will enable you to get a larger share, and as the category starts increasing, you will start increasing. So one of the key things to be able to do in Amazon is to be able to identify which category is currently maybe at a small pace, small size, and is growing at a very rapid pace. And if you are able to identify, okay, what are the, and you go through the customer reviews of all the products which are currently there, and identify what is the customer need that is not getting identified or which is not getting met. So when we looked at the candies and the mints as a category, again, we had legacy brands there, and for them, that was a very small percentage of their overall revenue. So there was not large focus there. So it was not available at all times. It was not getting delivered on time. The pack sizes were different. And that's why all of these issues we sorted when we launched our first product on Amazon, and we made sure that we are available in all supply chain centers at every single point of time. We made sure that we highlighted things about our candy which was very differentiated from what the current players were giving, which is that we don't have any added color, flavor, preservatives. We have no refined sugar in our candy. So those kind of things started resonating with the consumer. And as the candy as a category started growing on Amazon, we started growing on Amazon. And Amazon or any marketplace is a very compounding channel. So what I mean by that is once you start getting velocity on Amazon, the Amazon algorithm, and if you have great reviews, it will start showing you up when people are searching for a category. And when they start seeing you up, and then you start getting bought more. And when you start getting bought more, then you're able to reinvest that entire amount in, again, advertising on when people are searching for your category. So it's a very compounding channel. So as the category grows, then you will keep on growing. So I think one learning for us from there was that if you are able to build and invest on compounding channels and channels that you can own, rather than channels where maybe you don't have that much power, those are the channels that you need to build for sales and scale. Rather than building channels where maybe you are held hostage by certain, like CAC or ad spends or top line spends, etc.
This question is for all the 4 panelists, not for Rohit. Where do you see your brand 5 years down the line?
We see our brand 5 years down the line, 500,000 outlets across the country, and obviously staying true to its mission of making Desi popular, so that we are able to showcase multiple Desi Indian categories in the light and in the brand experience that they deserve.
Chinu.
To be a 1,000 crore brand, and most importantly, to be the most loved jewelry brand in this country.
1,000 crore brand and the most loved jewelry brand in the country. Anish.
So that is already happening with us. So I'm very happy with that.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
You have already achieved that milestone. Something on the numbers part, if you would like to share your vision.
So I think India is obviously a large market, right? And the opportunity out there. I will not speak about revenue numbers, etc.
No. Like 5 years down the line.
5 years down the line, I think we would definitely like to have made a dent in the universe. Snacking is reportedly about 85,000 crore market. I think even if we emerge as, let's say, a 15-20% market share player across sweet and savory snacking, we would have felt we've done it.
85,000 ka 10% would be 8,500. Okay, so let's take 10% because then it becomes difficult. So congratulations and all the best for that, Anish. Now we go to Nidhi. Nidhi, before you say any number, I am going to be contributing for that. So whatever number you say. So 5 years down the line, what's your vision?
See, 5 years down the line, of course, across India, every samosa should be from Samosa Singh, because we are also one of the B2B players, right? So anywhere, everywhere you have the samosas, it should be from Samosa Singh. And I think more than that, our vision is actually to take samosas, Indian samosas, even outside India. Now, I was in the Middle East. I mean, we are now shipping our first few containers to Middle East. There, we are not getting the authentic, proper samosas, and it's either the patti or those kinds of versions. So we would really want to get to that level, and already Haldirams and Bikaji have done it. We want a new age player just for samosas to get there, and that's my vision. And 5 years is too much. This is our vision in next 3 years, actually.
Excellent, very good. Rohit, what is your final comment from a tech perspective to all the retailers and the D2C brands?
Yeah, I think tech is here to stay and it's here to rule, but definitely one major push or change that is coming about in the last 5 years, what I've seen is, earlier a lot of the bigger brands, they always went for international products. So I think our product, our technology, not Genesis per se, but a lot of Indian companies are there now which are making high quality software products for the Indian market. So whatever bigger names you hear of, they were usually for the export market, but they are making high quality software products for the Indian market, for the Indian businesses. And I think that story has just got started. So the likes of Zoho has already made it big for the really small scale business, but for the medium scale and for the larger enterprises in India, I think there's a lot to be done, and we are doing that. I think that story is just getting started.
I agree with you. It's not only about the samosa, Nidhi or Chinu for the jewelry. It's also about our software. So that also equally has to be is there up to the mark, and definitely has to be not only in India but outside as well. We can take 1 or 2 questions. We have I'll ask for 1 or 2 questions, not more than that. Any questions for the panelist? Who? Last. Okay. Mike, please.
I'm a market strategist. This question is to all the retailers along with the panel leaders. So if we talk about marketing strategies to reach out 140 crore populations in India, so what will be the best policy thinking about the ROI whether it's omni-channel or multi-channel or EBTL media.
Okay. I forgot your name.
Apayan.
Apayan wants to reach out to 140 crore Indians. What should be the best marketing strategy? Have I articulated it right?
Yes, correct.
Any guess with additions? He wants to reach out to 140 crore Indians. What is the best marketing strategy? And you can use additions, conditions apply, so on and so forth, but best as per you.
It has to be omni-channel then. If you want to reach that scale, then yeah, it will be omni-channel.
But thinking about the investment on the markets, because there are so many startups are doing investments, like investing 300 crores and in return they are getting 200 crores in profit. So this is how the business can be done.
You will obviously go with online first because that reach is quite rapid, quite huge, right? And it will be much economical. And then you go omni-channel.
Fair. So you got a
Yes.
Thanks. So
This is the same answer from all the panel leaders.
So what Chinu is trying to say is, if you want to start at a low level and go fast or you reach a wider audience, then you'll have to go online. Obviously, you'll have to take the offline route also subsequently later in your journey. But online is quick, fast, and the reach is also wide.
Just to add another thing, like there are people tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities. So maybe online is somewhere where people are logging in and subscribing and showing interest on the product. They are getting the notifications. But what about the other people of direct reaching?
See, I can tell you my take, though I am the company who has invested the least in marketing. My experience is, to be honest, before you get into your marketing, your product has to reach everywhere, including the tier 2, tier 3 and the smaller cities. And never underestimate the power of these smaller cities. When COVID hit us, we got an opportunity to start in Vijayawada, Vizag. We started it. We started with just 4 stores, 2 in each of these cities, 1 in Mysore. And these stores were actually the game changers because the smaller cities are automatically kind of attuned to actually having all these kinds of traditional things, and it's kind of something that suits the best. So if you ask me, my take is that the best strategy is to make sure that your product is actually available across. Let's say today, Go Desi or TagZ, once the product like that, which can be commoditized, it's something which is a packaged snack, and if it's present everywhere, then even if you do a marketing through online radio channels, FM, some influencer, blogger, or like Chinu suggested, being your own brand ambassador and doing it, I think it will have a more impactful return, a better ROI, rather than just like the likes you mentioned, where you're investing too much and you don't get that much ROI because equivalent amount gets, though we don't use the word burn, but literally, the money gets into this. So.
Thank you everyone. Especially a big thanks to our panelists. Thanks to Rohit, Nidhi, Anish, Chinu, and Vinay for sharing their insights here with us today.